For this video, for Core 1 CNC Plasma, we will be calibrating our floating head. What this will do is calibrate our torch to cut out the correct cut height. For doing this, we're going to need to do a few things. First, we're going to be using SheetCam and Mach 3 as our two programs. We're also going to need to get a thick piece of steel or something hard that we can set down on the table for our head to come down and touch, which will be our torch. The torch will have to come down and touch this material and then go past it a little bit to click the switch. I will explain that later on in the video. For SheetCam, it is where we're going to be setting our cut height, and Mach 3 is where we're going to be getting our cut height. After we open up SheetCam, we're going to want to go to Options. Then next, we're going to be going to Machine. After you click on Machine, you'll see a Pulse Processor tab. What we're going to want to do here is click on this tab, and we're going to want to make sure our Core 1 CNC Pulse Processor is selected. From this point, we're going to hit Edit Post. Now this may look overwhelming, but it's really not too bad. What we're going to want to do is scroll down a little bit, and we're going to be looking for switch offset. So currently here our switch offset is set at 0.19, which means after our torch touches the table, the torch will move another 0.19 inches on a bearing to click the switch to sense that it is on its exact zero. So once it touches off and lifts up, it knows that its exact zero is negative 0.19 inches. So let's say if our torch is cutting too high, we will want to lower this number. If our torch is cutting too low, we want to raise this number. And by raising it, it will still stay a negative. So it would be negative 0.20 if we raised it 1/10. Next, we're going to want to open up Mach 3. Once you get your Mach 3 open, you're going to want to make sure your table is powered up, and we're going to hit emergency reset. You also want to make sure your plasma cutter is off until you have Mach 3 open, and we will have it off for this demo. Next, we're going to want to go and move our torch, our X and Y. We're going to want to move that to our position where we have a piece of metal or a plate that we've put down on the table for our torch to come down and touch. So after you moved it around and got it to where it's above the plate, you want to do 0 all axes. From there, we're going to want to go over here to diagnostic and digitize. Now, once you're on this page, you'll see this green square. What that means is that your probe or your floating head switch is reading correctly. So what you're going to want to do now is bring your torch down until it barely touches the material. You'll want to have it where it just barely touches it. So I'm just going to bring my torch down a little too far. Let me get it up a little bit. Now once you have your torch basically touching your material, you're going to hit this 0Z. Next, what you're going to want to do is hit the down arrow until you hear the switch click, and then that's when you'll stop, and that's when you're going to get your switch offset. So I'm going to take my Z down. Oh, that's where mine stopped. So now this is going to be my number, negative 0.12. Now we can make this negative 0.13. We can round it up if we want. So what we're going to do is take this number now. We're going to go back over here to SheetCam. We're going to open up our switch offset. Now we're going to change this to negative 0.13. Once we've done that, we'll go up here to the top left to save. And now everything's been saved. Now the next process will be creating a part and bringing it into SheetCam and processing it. So basically, you'll need to create a part and process it to read the new switch offset. And if your switch offset is too high or too low, you'll need to go back in the SheetCam and adjust that accordingly. And you will also need to repost process the code for the new changes that take effect. You're going to want to make sure when you save the new code, it's under a new name also. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful.